Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
नमस्कार, वेलकम टू कॉमन इंडियन वॉइस। गीता पे चर्चा सोमवार के दिन कुछ कारणों की वजह से नहीं कर पाए हम लोग, तो आज हम लोग फिर इकट्ठे हुए हैं। गीतांजलि गोयल जी एंड स्वामी प्रज्ञानंद जी, नमस्कार आप दोनों को एंड स्वागत है। स्वामी जी, आप तो हमेशा एक प्रार्थना से
वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवगी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। हरि
ओम। स्वामी जी, पहला सवाल मैं पूछती हूँ, तीसरा अध्याय जो है उसका सार क्या है? व्हाट इज द समरी? क्या सीखने को मिलता है हमको तीसरा अध्याय से?
तीसरा अध्याय कर्मयोग है और कर्मयोग का सार दूसरे अध्याय में एक बार दिए हैं भगवान ने। कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते मा फलेषु कदाचन मा कर्मफल हेतुर्भु मा ते संकोष्ठ कर्मणि। This I have explained in some detail before. And yogastha kuru karmani sangham tikta dhananjaya siddhya siddhyor samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So the equanimous attitude of the mind that has to be achieved by the yogi. Siddhya siddhyor samo bhuta. Siddhi is achievement. Asiddhi is not failure, but the results have not been achieved. They are in the offing now. It is going to come. But people get restless. Many times even they feel very hopeless that it may not come. Like Arjuna was saying, हम जीतेंगे वो जीतेंगे. We don't know whether we will win or they will win. So whether I will achieve or not, that frustration should not creep in. So this essence of karma yoga has been told in the second adhyaya. So be a yogi and do all the work. Work in the world. Karma yoga essentially is for working world, for the people working in the world. So that is a very, in the spiritual sense, Vedantic sense, it is a very ordinary stage that I am in a world and I am working. But even at that stage, we can be a yogi if we have the equanimous attitude, samattva buddhi, samattva buddhi. When the brain achieves that level, then karma yoga starts. So in the third chapter, the Lord explains it. First, that there is a tradition, Parambara of karma yogis, right from Surya Narayana. This Parambara has started and it spread through the Surya Vamsha, Ikshaku Vamsha, Sri Rama's Vamsha lineage. From Ikshaku through Sri Rama and his those who followed him in that royalty, through them it spread. Yadha Raja Tadha Praja. So they were Rajarshis. So through that Rajarshi Parambara, ordinary people also started becoming Karma Yogi. Very, very normal people. They were very much developed in their mentality. May not be physically, may not be living in a very high-fi society like the Vanaras in which Hanuman was. But mentally they were so developed, which is now almost unachievable for even the most developed, so-called materially developed societies. They can't think of that level. So then second part, Lord says, this is the rule of creation, that you have to give more than what you get. That is Yajna Bhava. idam na mama. This is not mine. This is for the lords. And the lords are supposed to distribute it equally among everybody. Sunlight is equal to anyone. Moon's peace is equal to anybody. It is equal to everyone. Somebody gets more share and somebody gets less share. Maybe it happens geographically, but in a place, everybody gets it equally. So the Devatas do it, distribute it. They are strengthened by yajna, and the yajna, Devatas strengthened by yajna distribute their blessings to everybody, material blessings also, yoga, kshema, both. So everybody in an equal manner. And that equality should be followed by the kings also, means rulers also. So this sense of equality has to be there right from that divinity. It is there in creation. It is demonstrated in creation every day. It has to be followed. And after that, there were people, like I said, Rajarshis, like Janaka, who are doing it. And then the Lord gives his own example, that I am the Supreme Lord of the creation. I have taken this avatar, but incarnation, but I am also doing all the work, even though everything is available. Everything that may be there in the creation or that may come in the future, they are all available to me. Still I am working because I have to set an example. We should be followed by others. That is the purpose of incarnation. And then Lord says how Karma Yoga can take you to perfection. The Karma Yoga can take you to perfection without any, it is an independent means of attaining liberation. That part is the final part. So in this way, the Karma Yoga is for very, very ordinary people. They can attain great stages of evolution of consciousness through Karma Yoga. People have evolved beautifully through karma. Swami Shivanandaji always used to say. So be a Karma Yogi. Wherever you are, in whatever situation you may be in, be a Karma Yogi. And then in the end, that control of senses, again, it has been told in the second chapter in the Siddha Prajna Prakaran, but it is repeated again at the end of the Karma Yoga. Again, it is repeated and stressed that if there is no sense control, if there is only greed which is guiding you in your life, then you will sin. There will be sin, and you will become, your life will become sinful. So we have to completely eliminate. Lord says kill, that is completely eliminate this sinful source of sin, mother of sin, which is lust. Eliminate it from our senses. All the senses of knowledge and senses of action also. Greed should not be the motive of the life. Unfortunately, today, this aspect is being ignored, and from education itself, people are putting greed as the motive for all the activities of the life. This is a very unfortunate situation. And capitalism, what is it? Based on greed. So this is not a thing, proper way to think. And the nature is teaching us in a very, very ruthless manner that if you put greed as the motivation in life, then not only humankind, all life will be wiped out. Earth will become a Mars after some time. Okay, please.
Gitanjali ji.
Swamiji, I had one question about karma. The most confusion I have is about how much control do we have over our karma? There's a theory which says that everything we do or everything that happens in this world is controlled by the super soul, which is God. and that we have no control at all. And there's another theory which says that we have control over our karma and that we are responsible for our karma. So which of the two is true, or is there a way that both the theories come together in some way?
Okay, let me put it in this way. Two things are there. One is karma, and second, the doer, karmi. So the karma, there are two regions, realms, where the karma has effect. One is the outer and the inner. What impact your karma is having on the world, this almost everybody is aware. But Gita says, first, what impact your karma is having on you. And when you are doing in the world, then what is your motive? So the inner aspect has to be studied thoroughly, and nobody can study it other than the individual himself or herself. The individual itself only can study its own motive and its own the impact of karma on it. So the Gita says, by your karma, through your karma, you have to evolve into a supreme soul. Karmanaya vahi samsiddhi mastida janagadaya. And then loga sangraham eva bhi sampasyan kartumarasti. The Rajarshis like Janaka, they evolved through karma. So there is evolution of rise of ascent of consciousness from an animal being to a supreme being can be achieved if we are aware of the impact of karma on our own self. We have to be watchful. And secondly, your motive for working in the world should be to set an example. Loga sangraham eva bhi sampasyan kartumartu. Krishna tells Arjuna, your motive of work should be to set an example on how to work in an ideal way, how to work in a very useful, blissful way through which the sorrow of others are elevated. Understand? Means what is your purpose of working is to be helpful. So whoever asks me, I tell, don't think how helpful others are to you. Think how helpful you are to others. It will come back. Nowadays, this karma is used as a boomerang, that your karma will return. So that is true in the sense that others will reciprocate.
I was actually going to ask you the same question. कि आजकल बोला जाता है कि आपने जो किया उसका फल आपको मिलेगा, वो आपका कर्मा है. So I was going to ask you, what is karma? Karma है क्या? According to the Gita.
So the impact of karma I was talking about, and the motivation for karma is twofold. One is that you should be helpful, alleviate the sorrow of others, and second, the motivation of karma is that you are in tune with the creation. You are a part of creation. You are a speck of creation. This awareness, why not? Why not? Why not be aware that I am a speck in the creation? The ego should not be so big that we forget that we are not, we are a part of the creation. So we should be in tune, in harmony with the creation. So the karma is an effort to express the understanding. Now I repeat, karma is an effort to express the understanding we have of the creation. That, see, now those who talk about brain, those who study brain, there are many branches which study brain. psychology, the impact of brain on psychology, human behavior, neurology, many things might be there, or other branches also might be there. So they said one thing. They have all come to the conclusion of one part of the brain manages the individual, and the other part of the brain connects it with the cosmic working. So we have both the individual being and the cosmic being. Our brain has developed into that level, but we are not aware while the other is working, the cosmic is working, and we are aware only when it is working at the individual level. So the increase in awareness, a development of awareness, will enable us to understand how the cosmos is working through our own brain, how the creation is working through it. So the karma is an effort to express the understanding of our own self as a part of the creation. This must be always remembered. So you have to put in the best. Otherwise, you are acting at a level which is not expected from you. Krishna says right in the first sloka of Upadesha that this doesn't suit you. This is not like you. So a human being has to be a human being first. Here, the human being the individual has to rise above the other animal levels. And I tell you from my experience of study of the mind and sadhana to elevate into the cosmic consciousness, I can tell you very clearly that some animal form, some plant form, some other flora or fauna, something, they impact so deeply your mind that your mind is centered on that. So you develop your favorites in animals, plants, and everything because your mind, like you have a favorite person in life, your mind is centered on that individual. Similarly, this impact is there. So it is better to study it and then be useful but rise up. So karma is an effort to express our understanding and to elevate ourselves to the highest level, supreme level. So the next part which I wanted to say that, who is the individual? Individual, like a sun ray, is from the Supreme, a light from the Supreme, an indicator of the Supreme. Now, all the labyrinth of our nerves and muscles and cells and bones and everything that a body consists of, and then there is a psychic body, and then there is a causal body also, the consciousness. Now, among all this, we have to search out for that thing which acts as an individual, which is the real individual. Rest all are borrowed from the nature according to the desire of that individual. Aham, ayam, asmi iti. When the individual desires for a status, it searches in the nature, it finds a set of body to be suitable and it selects that. Immediately there is a bondage with that, and that body takes shape from the nature, organic matter. Nature supplies the organic matter, but the designer is the soul, but the soul also can design only according to what is there in creation. So that freedom is limited to selection. After selection, nature works. So the bondage is there. Still, it helps in evolution if we have that understanding that it is not only for the individual lust, we have to rise and do our work as seva, service. Service to our circumstances. Wherever we are, we should be useful. So that is the purpose of karma. And when the karma is done for seva, then we are acting like the God. We become a God man. And then from there, we rise to the Supreme. So the Jiva becomes a Shiva. When it tries to rise, the Shiva aspect is working. And when it reaches the Supreme, it finds that I was always the Supreme. It was only in dream that I was walking away. Oh.
So coming back to my question, so what you're saying is that when the intent becomes purer, we become closer to being the Supreme Soul, and so we have more control over what the karma is like. Because my question was like, who has control over the karma? Is it the Supreme Soul or is it the individual? But you're saying both have one, and the individual becomes closer and closer to Supreme Soul as his karma becomes purer.
When the Supreme acts as Ishvara, there is creation. When it becomes an individual, there is a body. It's a very simple equation. But in consciousness, the shadow of the individual is there. So the nature which we express in an ignorant state, that is through the Prakriti, nature. It is not our real nature. So it becomes a shadow. In consciousness, there is a shadow of the individual Supreme of the individual state. So this is a very complicated procedure. And then now what we call science, with all its computing powers, cannot recreate a mind. Even a very crude mind like a small insect, it cannot recreate that type of response. So this is a very complicated procedure, and as I said, what we see around us, it is a creation of the senses, isn't it? Without senses, without consciousness, where will there be a creation? There can't be. So it is in the individual's consciousness that creation exists. It is in our brain, to say in a common parlance. Without a brain, there will be no creation. This is a natural thing. This aspect nobody is inspecting. All are thinking that there is a creation and we are coming and going. It can't be. Even in sleep, the world and the individual, they vanish together. While waking, they appear together. This daily occurrence and daily experience, if this is also not helping us to inspect the phenomenon of world, what will motivate us to inspect the phenomenon called world? World is in our brain. This has to be very well understood. No brain, no world. No consciousness, no world. This has to be understood. Understood perfectly, thoroughly, with full confidence. We must be able to say, I create the world. At what stage we create the world? Not as a person, not merely as a brain, but as consciousness. So, till that aspect, consciousness is a normal phenomenon. People become unconscious, we know that they are unconscious. It means it is under observation, this thing. But it is not studied. People don't like to study mathematics, so how will they study such a high logic? all the students, when they asked which subject, which is one subject which you would like to be removed, mathematics. So what I am saying is, this logic of karma, this logic of waking and sleeping, the logic behind motives for working, all this must lead to our understanding that it is the consciousness, whether cosmic or individual, which is the creation and the individual both. And the sakshi, the witnessing, comes from the Supreme, which acts as an individual, and the Supreme both. So Ishvara and Veshti, individual and the God. God in the sense of Western philosophy, that not that God. God which becomes a motive creation, that is God. Whatever becomes level of consciousness which becomes the total creation and the possibility of creation. And when both are not there, still it is there. Like it is said in the Nasadaya Sutta, that is God. Ishvara.
Wonderful session. मीन्स लोगों का जो आजकल एक देख लिया ना, कुछ भी होता है, गीतांजलि जी आप ट्विटर पे देखते ही रहते हो, कर्मा 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 ने तुम लोगों को, कर्मा तुमको छोड़ेगा नहीं. सो यू नो लाइक हम लोग, वी हैव स्टार्टेड इक्वेटिंग कर्मा विथ व्हाट वी गेट of due to our bad deeds. That has become karma. So means aaj I think people will at least think twice and really try to understand what exactly is karma. And I have nothing to add. It was wonderful. Actually, it was very wonderful. We'll meet again. गीतांजलि जी आप तो बहुत थके हुए हैं, आपको दिख ही रहा है आप थके हुए हैं, बट इट इज सो ग्रेशियस ऑफ यू इवन आफ्टर नॉट फीलिंग वेल टू जॉइन अस. एंड स्वामी जी आपको तो धन्यवाद दे के शायद गलती कर दूंगी. यू आर जस्ट ट्राइंग टू अवेकन अस, you are trying to tell us what is right, what is wrong, and what should we follow, what should we learn from Gita, and make our lives a better one. That is the main purpose. And I hope we are able to at least awaken a few people. और कुछ उम्मीद तो नहीं कर सकती हूँ. And
let me say concluding. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya, sarve bhadrani pashyantu, ma kaschid dukkha bhag bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. हरि ओम.
श्रोताओं, अच्छा लगा तो लाइक कीजिए, सब्सक्राइब कीजिए एंड शेयर भी कीजिए. नमस्कार.